Introduced in 2022 via the Sunbreak expansion to Monster Hunter Rise, Garangolm snoozed its way into hunters' hearts shortly after their arrival onto the shores of Elgato. But don't let Garangolm's carefree demeanor fool you. Underneath those still waters lies a volcano ready to erupt. A volcano with enough power to earn them the title of Lord. A distinction only 2 other large monsters in Elgato carry, and the only way to get to the other 2 lords is through this one. But it won't be easy. Stay tuned for a breakdown of every move Garangolm might throw at you during a hunt. And afterwards, one way you can counter this moveset with Greatsword. Before we begin, let's go over the 3 states Garangolm can switch to, as each state has its own nuances. The first state is its normal base state. The second is its charged up state. And the third and final state is its supercharged up state. Every move from the base moveset, aka Garangolm's normal state, carries over to the other 2. So the charged up variants of each move will be noted on screen with 1 asterisk, while the supercharged up variants will be noted with 2. Now, let's begin. As you'd expect from a large monster granted the title of Lord, Garangolm's roar is a strong one that will paralyze the hunter, so be ready to counter it and take advantage of the opening that gives you. The nice thing about Garangolm is that most of its moves have long wind-ups and very distinct tells, giving you ample time to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge appropriately. When you see Garangolm raise either of its arms like this, get ready to roll to the side towards its other arm. This will leave you in a perfect position to attack its head or arm. The only thing that changes for the other variants is the possibility of getting afflicted with an elemental blight, primarily Blast Blight, since his right hand slam leaves a cloud of blast behind. But getting afflicted is worth it, since the cloud appears near its head, a place you want to be since it's another weak spot. Rest assured that no matter what, a hand slam will never be followed by another hand slam, no matter which state Garangolm is in, so dodge and fire away. Left and right hand sweep are best avoided by either rolling towards the screen, away from Garangolm, or towards its hind legs, since the sweep covers a large area across its body. And normally, a hand sweep will never be followed by another hand sweep unless Garangolm is in its supercharged up state. Then there's the possibility that one will be followed by another, so keep this in mind when Garangolm is supercharged up. When Garangolm raises both fists above its head, it means it's about to do a series of double slams towards the hunter, 2 in its normal state and 3 in its elemental states. Garangolm always sits idly after this attack, so it's best to roll under it and go either for its tail, or run over to where the last slam will take it and attack its arms and head. The next 2 attacks have somewhat similar tells, but still not enough to confuse the 2. When Garangolm looks like it's about to bang out a few push-ups, roll immediately in any direction away from it as it's about to do a body slam. But be mindful of the ground tremors this attack causes, as it can ruin any potential follow-ups. If you don't have a counter, then it's best to run a good distance away from the impact site and immediately rush in afterwards, as Garangolm takes a bit of time to get back up. Head Rush will also see Garangolm set both palms on the ground like Body Slam, but you'll know it's not Body Slam when it smashes its head into the ground too. If there's enough distance between you and Garangolm, you could stay ahead of it and run towards the screen in order to punish sooner, but I recommend rolling to either side instead, because the supercharged up variant of this attack ends with a steam explosion at Garangolm's head, something you don't want to be near. The next two attacks are projectiles, but that doesn't mean Garangolm won't use them at point blank range. It's why I consider these two attacks to be the most devastating moves in Garangolm's arsenal, as they deal devastating damage and come out fairly quickly. The first one of these moves is Boulder Toss. Instinct will tell you to move away from the point of release, but in this case, instinct is wrong. The key to dodging this attack is to go in the same direction Garangolm's arm goes. If its left arm reaches across its body to its right hip, then you go there too, because a slew of boulders is about to flood the left side of the screen. Same for the inverse, right arm to left hip, hunter to left hip. If Garangolm releases this attack at point blank range, then it's best to dodge it altogether since it hits twice, once with the arm and again with the boulder. The second and possibly most dangerous attack in Garangolm's default moveset is the table flip. To be frank, if Garangolm uses this move at point blank range, it's almost guaranteed you won't be able to dodge it in time, as it covers a massive area in front of Garangolm. So, if you have anything with super armor, hyper armor, iframes, or a counter/guard, then now's the time to use it. If you want to risk dodging instead, then try rolling for its hind legs or directly away from it towards the screen. But know this, when the table flips, everything else does too. Garangolm has a couple of tricks it tends to save for hunters that like hanging out behind it a little bit too much. One of these tricks is the spin attack. It's not a move you want to see much during a hunt because it creates space between you and Garangolm, but as long as you stay in front of Garangolm, you probably won't see it very often. Garangolm's other move it likes to use when a hunter's behind it is backup slam. It's a variant of hand slam, but for whatever reason, Garangolm will only ever use its left hand to do it, even when it'd make more sense for it to use its right. Even more curious is the fact that Garangolm mainly uses this move when the hunter is directly in front of them. This almost always results in no damage being done to the hunter, but it does create space between the two of you, so maybe that's why it likes to use it in certain scenarios. That covers the entirety of Garangolm's default moveset, but that's not everything. There are a few moves it saves for when it takes up its elemental forms. Let's start with its charged up form, which it triggers via a move I call Charge Up. You can get a few attacks in during the start of it, but be ready to respond to the roar that comes soon after. The two moves Garangolm adds to its arsenal once it's charged up are Leap and Leaping Slam. Leap isn't so much an attack as it is a spacer. The only thing to look out for is the explosion that occurs at Garangolm's right arm to launch it, as it can damage the hunter. Leaping Slam, on the other hand, starts the same as Leap, but ends with a devastating left-hand slam. The best way to differentiate between the two is by noting where the leap occurs. If the leap occurs at point-blank range, then it's just a leap. But if Garangolm is some distance away, then get ready for it to home in on your position and land there. But because of the massive water splash that occurs in front of its left hand, it's best to dodge to either side, ideally towards its right arm. Finally, we've reached Garangolm's final state, its supercharged up state, which it initiates with Supercharge Up. The key difference between Supercharge Up and Charge Up is the ground slam Garangolm does with its head at the start. Don't try to capitalize on it though, as it does damage and is followed up by a strong roar. If you have a counter, save it for the roar instead. Garangolm's three most cinematic moves are unlocked at this point, making use of the two elements available at its fingertips to trigger what I'm theorizing is the phenomena known as flash boiling. These first two moves start with the head slam. but not the same kind. For Flash Boil Double Slam, Garangolm will first home in on the hunter with a devastating head slam, and then follow it up with the titular Flash Boil Double Slam. I suggest dodging to either side for both moves, and giving ample space after the second to avoid the explosion. Once the explosion ends though, rush in, since Garangolm will sit for quite a bit. The other head slam sees Garangolm drag it across its body before rapidly lifting it up to disintegrate anything that may be overhead with a devastating flash boiled clap. If you dodge the first attack, then you won't have to worry about the second one, and the best way to dodge it is by rolling away from Garangolm towards the screen. The final and flashiest attack in Garangolm's moveset is Flash Boiled Eruption. It's very likely that this spectacle of an attack was the very last thing many an Elgato hunter ever witnessed. If you get caught up in the awe of it, then your hunting days are surely over. But otherwise, just run away as fast as possible and you should be fine. Now that we know what Garangolm can do, and how to respond, it's time to put it all together and go on a hunt against the Lord of the Midday Nap, Garangolm. Happy hunting, and thank you for watching.
Let's do this! Giddy up! That dog's hard. Here it comes! Here comes the pain! you through! This should fix it! This is the end! There's an obedient dog. Okay, that's enough. Here comes the pain! You shouldn't have ticked me off! Here comes the pain! Here it comes! Placing a trap here! Now! Piece of cake! Let's go! Good job, buddy. Another successful hunt.